Hi everyone, and welcome to the Urban Investor, where I track my single income family of four's journey to FIRE, that's financial independence, retire early. In this video, I will review my May income and expenses, calculate my investment and savings rate, as well as look at how my index fund has grown this month. Please do check out my last video where I review my May net worth. So May was a very expensive month. Being a Muslim, I was partaking in the month of Ramadan, which includes abstaining of food and drink as part of our fast. You'd think it would be a great money saving opportunity by not eating as much, but actually what happens is you tend to indulge on a lot more takeaways and a variety of foods, as you literally eat twice a day, so you tend to eat out more, or you just don't have the same amount of energy levels to cook each day. Also, in Ramadan, it's a time of reflection, which means you tend to appreciate what you have, and you tend to also give more to the less fortunate. So this is also something that's probably hit my expenses this month. To see what were this month's movements, let's begin with my dashboard as usual, where we can take a deep dive into each chart. So moving on, we can see my investment and savings is flat month on month, giving me a savings rate of 44%. Taking a step back, really to appreciate the bigger picture, we can see I've managed to save and invest over 22k, which I'm very pleased with. So moving on, we can see my actual income was over 1k higher. This isn't a true reflection of my income. I actually took some existing funds from accounts to clear some debt, as we will see later. Therefore, think of this variance as almost utilization of retained earnings if we're thinking of a balance sheet. Similarly, you can see my expenses are higher by a similar amount, which shows again these extra funds being used to pay off expenses. We can see the low savings rate took a hit, 8% down versus plan, and this is again as a result of that extra expense. But as I mentioned, this is to pay debt, so I'm less concerned about this drop really. So where have I spent my income in May? Kicking off, I begin by paying myself £3,200. Around £1,100 of this went into my property, where I continued to make a small overpayment to chip away at my mortgage. Around £2,000 went into my pension, which actually only cost me £857. The remaining rough £1,200 is free money. I get about £600 from tax relief by paying into my pension, and the remaining circa £600 comes from my my employer pension matches. Other debt is my credit card, and you can see I've paid a pretty hefty amount this month, 33% of my expenses, which is obviously a substantial amount in a given or single month. The reason for this big payment was I took out my credit card almost 3 years ago, and this was a Santander all-in-one credit card. It had the longest interest-free period, hence why I took it. As of today, you can see on the screen, you get 20 months interest-free, but when I actually took the card out several years ago, it was actually 30 months. So in May, the 13-month period was coming to an end, so I decided to take out another card which had a free balance transfer perk, and I transferred the balance. Just to be on the safe side, I paid as much as I could off in case the card wasn't approved or the balance that I was given was a lot lower. Thankfully it went through, and I have since cancelled my Santander credit card. Housing is in line with prior month, and this is basically the interest on my mortgage, utilities, broadband and council tax costs. Transport is just one car lease now, so this is a lot smaller than it was in the past. This also includes some fuel costs. Food, charity and entertainment was a lot higher than I expected. Combined, it was well over 500 quid. And as I said at the start, we were fasting, so we tended to spend out more on food and also on charitable donations. Moving on to investment and savings rate, my savings rate has fallen from 69% in Q1 to 34% in Q2. But that was expected given the focus on paying down my debt. I expect to be around 40 to 50% in terms of a rate for the next 3 months as I pay down or attempt to pay down the credit card. Next, we have a year-to-date look at my expenses, and those two quarterly savings and investment rate averages out to about 52% for the year, which is pretty decent. Other debt is a massive 29% of my expenses, which showcases the potential for 2022. If I manage to clear all my short-term consumer debt, all of this balance can then shift to my investments, making it potentially circa 80%, which would be crazy but realistic if I have no lifestyle creep. Housing is largely out of my control, whereas transport is something I'm hoping to reduce further, given now I have one car lease which ends in November. Finally, entertainment is only 1%, which is very pleasing given this is an average over 5 months. You can see this month's splurge was about a third of the whole year-to-date amount, so hopefully no repeat in June. Here we have my index fund growth for my pension. You can see I'm edging closer to 60k and ticking over nicely really. The gap between my contribution and the value is widening, which shows the power of compounding starting to take into effect. I think once I hit 6 figures, things should really accelerate as a result. So what do you guys think of my income expenses? Are you tracking your own? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to follow my FIRE journey here on YouTube. I've also set up an Instagram page, so please check me out there as well.